This episode comes from Thessaloniki, Greece, and I get to sit down with the team from Trace and Chase. They are a powerhouse sports card trading company based in northern Greece. They have created a global footprint across the European Union and now opening up a new showroom in the United States. They have an incredible business. They become a player in this global landscape of sports card trading. Their showroom here in Thessaloniki is absolutely wonderful. We get to show you around. We get to have a discussion with Dio Nikiforos, member of the team here, and just really understand what they're doing differently as they're expanding this business. So enjoy this episode starting now. My name is George Stroumboulis, and I'm extremely passionate about traveling the world, meeting new people, and learning about new businesses. Join me as I sit down with other entrepreneurs to learn about their journeys. This episode of Invigorate Your Business starts now. Okay, I am in Thessaloniki, Greece. Flew in about 4 hours ago and straight here, got to check out this incredible space, and it's so unassuming. You're in downtown Thessaloniki, you go through this door and then it's this paradise downstairs.
It's a big surprise, man.
It is awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you here.
Appreciate you having me here. This is awesome. We are at Trace and Chase in Thessaloniki, but it doesn't mean we're just Thessaloniki. You guys are expanding globally. We're going to get into that. For the listeners, I'm going to do a quick summary right here.
Sure.
Talking about the business. After, correct me, let me know, but
sounds good.
It's pretty incredible. So I'm sitting here with Dio Nikiforos. Go by Dio.
Yeah, go by Dio.
Yeah. So Trace and Chase, founded in Thessaloniki, Greece in 2021, has rapidly grown into Europe's largest hobby shop for trading cards and memorabilia. In just a few years, it has transformed from a bold idea into a global brand, bridging culture, retail, and community, partnering directly with industry leaders like Panini, Topps, Upper Deck, and Fanatics. Trace and Chase offers collectors exclusive access to rare cards and memorabilia. With their recent expansion into the USA through a new store in New Jersey, they are positioning themselves as a truly international powerhouse in the hobby market. You guys are going to New Jersey. We're going to get into that. Actually leave tomorrow.
You did your homework, man.
Yeah, we did our homework. Listen, I think we're still going to go, but the story for what you guys are doing out of, small city Thessaloniki on a global scale with all these brands, it's insane.
And there's a story behind that if you want me to go on with that.
We are. So really quick, beyond sales, the brand has built a vibrant cultural hub in Thessaloniki, as you can see here, with a mini basketball court, a lounge. You guys host events here.
Interviews,
former NBA stars, Greek players are coming through here. This has become a hub, right, for culture.
Exactly.
So, and you joined the team during COVID when you guys launched. So I want, in your words, first of all, thank you for sitting down, but in your words, how do you describe the space and what you guys do?
Yeah, so first of all, we got to give credit where it's due. And this whole thing, this beautiful thing, is an idea that came out, straight from our managing director, Dio Nikiforos. So he was a collector, and he had in his possession a lot of those items. And at some point, he's a businessman, so he turned it into business, and he came up with the idea to build a space like that, and then try, to see if there is a place for us in the market. And I remember getting the call from Yanni, and he was like, hey, you want to come check my new venture? I'm like, sure, whatever. Then I step into this place, I see this venue, and I wonder, Yanni, what's the plan here? So the plan was basically to do something very simple, to bring the hobby culture in Europe, because in Europe, a lot of collectors, they already know about stickers. This has been huge for us, especially when we were growing in Greece and all over Europe.
The sneaker culture.
The sticker.
Stickers. Okay. Yes.
Which is still, very, very big all over the world. So the idea is to introduce, the people in Europe in the hobby culture and the card culture, which is a little bit different because you have to do, the different kind of product. So Yanni's vision was, let's see if we can build a business in Europe, because apparently nobody was doing that in Europe. And to be honest, the success of our business is because we built something from scratch. But the idea was very simple. Just offer to the people here in Europe something that was not available. Mm-hmm. That's how we started. And, the way we run the business is we're trying to, make everybody that we're working with look good, because, we represent the leagues and the athletes.
Right.
These are, the people that need to be on top of everything and be the examples for young kids and the next generations. This is what we do since day one. And fortunately, our business has been able to develop to the point where we're now expanding slowly. Like you said, we're just starting a new shop in USA, in New Jersey. So welcome to Trace and Chase Greece. I hope to see you Trace and Chase USA in New Jersey.
Listen, man, first of all, congrats to you and your team.
Thank you.
To be here and then say, hey, you know what, we're going to go to the tri-state, New Jersey, right, as a stepping stone. And I know you have future plans that you guys could share, but, out of here, you're a privately held company, so you can't share financials, but millions of dollars of memorabilia and cards are going through this business, right?
Yes. But like I said, it's very simple because we pretty much, we filled in a gap that was in the European market. There were people that were bringing this kind of product, but they were not running the operation as a business. They were shipping product, from their basement, or they didn't have the volume to sell and, make a nice profit for them. So, we were very fortunate because, since day one, we communicated our vision to our partners. And partners, I mean, the big guys like Panini and Topps and Fanatics and Upper Deck. They were surprised to see something taking place in Greece.
Sure.
But, to be honest with you, they had to visit and see that this place is actually real. Because, someone might say, well, actually, where in Thessaloniki?
Yeah.
But most of them, they visited, they came here and they saw, our venue and the way we do business. And they have been very, supportive of us. And that's what they're doing with our new venue, actually, in New Jersey. We wouldn't be there without them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is basketball the anchor sport?
Basketball is the main one. Soccer is big in Europe as well. To be honest, the soccer product that we're getting, it gets sold out immediately.
Okay. Like what? Jerseys, signed jerseys, stuff?
The main, I gotta make, this point, like the main business of our shop is 95% trading cards.
The cards.
The trading boxes. So the rest is memorabilia. It's like, the cherry on the top, but mostly it's cards. So there's a demand for soccer because it's very popular. And then we got, countries like, UK and Germany where the demand for NFL football is very big. So I would say, it's basketball, football, soccer, and then the rest of, we have trading cards, for WWE and the UFC. There's tennis products.
Right.
And all kinds of products. The collector, the hobby cycle that we're talking about, we're talking about a niche product that, is being addressed to a specific amount of people. Yes. Very loyal. And, if you spend the time, you get to see, how much of homework needs to be done to go after, the players and the teams and the sets that you want to, collect.
I grew up collecting hockey cards. That was my big thing when I was 10. So we're talking 35 years ago. And I remember going and getting, at the time, I think it was Topps. Upper Deck was more baseball.
For sure.
Right?
And Upper Deck, they still have the license for hockey.
They still do. Okay. Yeah. And I remember I was so into it back then in the collecting. And back then my biggest card was like, you wouldn't know, but it was Eric Lindros or a Wendell Clark or a Doug Gilmore.
I know the big names.
Yeah. No, not Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, obviously.
But now that I'm older, I have guys my age in their mid 40s during COVID had sons and they're like back spending thousands of dollars on cards.
Yeah. So
and really quick, I didn't get back into it. I have daughters. So I'm like, they're not into it. So I never got back into cards. So.
Yes. So like for someone your age, and this is like the magic of the hobby, a lot of people are getting back because, they have the kids. And this is like a great hobby to have, with your son especially, and your daughter, especially if your daughters play soccer, for example, because, it connects, the family in a very unique way. And I would say a very healthy way because, you can have, kids doing all kinds of different activities that, their parents are happy, or you can do something together that, strengthens the bond and, gets you some money as well. I mean, to be honest, I'm very surprised every time we go visit USA and we go to those card shows, you see, young kids carrying, cards that are worth, thousands of dollars. And, this is knowledge that they got, through learning, through, getting exposed to the market, which is, something that everybody wants to see for their kids.
Absolutely. So talk to me about the operations of the cards in general, right? So I could go online, I could go on eBay, Amazon, the resellers, but how does it actually work? So you buy it from your partners and then you mark it up and then why come to you versus someone else?
Exactly. So we got to distinguish first of all, to the market that was taking place 20 years ago and what is happening now. So 25 years ago, with stickers and with the cards that used to be printed back in the day, the differences was they were being printed in millions of copies. So it was the same card that was going different places. And, that brings down the value of this card. Now, fast forward 2009, and when Panini America actually took over with the license of NBA and NFL, they came up with a different approach. And the approach was, we're going to print out, less amount of cards, and we're going to make it more valuable. How do you do that, you might ask? So you got cards that are numbered now. You got cards that have autographs. You got cards that have, pieces of the jersey.
Real autographs in the back?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, that's a good question. An on-card auto with a numbering out of 10, say, has more value compared to a card with a sticker auto and a numbering that is out of 200. So we have to make this distinguish so that, we understand that it's a different market. And then we got to explain, how things work. So if you want to buy a card, you have to buy a box. So these cards come out in boxes. And we know these boxes represent specific brands. Some of them have been in the market for years. And each box has a different configuration. So, example, there are hobby boxes that usually have an autograph. So these are like the cards of value that, collectors go after. There are, blasters in retail boxes where, people are buying because they want to collect. Mm-hmm. And the volatility there is smaller, obviously.
Sure.
So, the main point here is that we're talking about a product that is not circulating in millions. And that means that you have a specific amount of production. Let's say that it's like a Panini Prism basketball box, okay? So we don't know exactly what the numbers are, but there's going to be only, say, 5,000 boxes that are out in the market. So that means that the minute that, you get identification about this product, it's probably going to sell out immediately. Sure. And that means that, this is a product that anyone can sell. You can go on eBay and put it on eBay, and it's going to go up, in minutes. You can there are different kinds of reselling that a lot of people are doing, but the hard thing is to get the product. And I'm very glad because what these companies are doing and have made it clear to us since day one is that they ask for us to have a shop, and they need for us to have like a place where we expose the product and we show the people, what they're after.
The card manufacturer asks for a shop?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Okay. So they want to see that because they want to expose the product.
Yes.
It's very easy to, give you a few boxes because you can sell them, but the work that we're doing here and the way that we promote the business in these companies is what puts us ahead. So to be honest with you, if you want to start like a business like ours, you can do it. You just have to, to bring the manpower and present something that, is in this lines of, showcasing the product and giving, everyone a vision about, what's the trading card. Right, like a lot of people, they step in, they don't know anything about trading cards. So we got like a big collection here and, we're doing a lot of work educating people about, what is a trading card and all these things that we talk about the market.
Yeah, it's a great explanation. So talk to me as an investment, because we'll show after, but you look around and there's cards everywhere. There's boxes, there's different stuff. Is this a good investment? So if someone has real estate and stocks and bonds, do you think this is a good?
That's a very good question because, there are different types of collectors. There are obviously collectors that just collect, because of the sentiment and because they will collect their favorite players and their favorite teams. There are some collectors that they just want to flip. We live in an area where everyone can flip a card or a box. That's
right.
easy.
All right.
So the third category is the ones that are investing. And this is like a category that we encourage people to do because every year you got new players that come out. And when I say invest I can bring out, the example of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So let's say back in 2014, Giannis gets drafted and his rookie cards, which are always the ones that have the most value. His rookie cards, were printed in these boxes. Nobody knew Giannis. Right. So if you said back in the day that I'm going to invest in Giannis, I can see Giannis having a long career and you bought his rookie cards, it's very likely that today you're a millionaire, especially when we're talking about, some of the cards with lower numbering.
Yes.
The same happened with Luka Doncic. And so there are a lot of people that do that, all kinds of sports. They invest in a player and they wait for him to just become a superstar and then you resell his cards and on and on. This is how the market works. And we're actually very happy because, like I said, Giannis has been a collector and since day one, he invested into Giannis and Luka Doncic. Yeah. So we have some amazing cards. I hope I have the time at some point to show you some of these cards.
That's incredible. So do you guys just hold on to just to have?
Yes, it's always an option, but right now I would say that nobody's selling Giannis because, the sky's the limit. This guy just won, the bronze medal, and, he's still relatively young, so you can go on and win even more. But, talking about cards of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, these are some of the grails of the hobby, and everybody's after these cards. It's very hard to get a Jordan autograph these days, but you can try.
Oh yeah. Didn't the Jordan rookie card, one of them just went for $3.5 million, I believe?
They keep selling.
They keep selling
all the time. So the thing with Jordan is his rookie card is just like a simple card. Personally, there have been some Michael Jordan cards later on with Upper Deck. I have his signature and jersey pads. These are like phenomenal cards.
Oh really?
So, and these are something that you cannot find because Upper Deck doesn't have the license now, so they're not printing anymore. And the same happened with all the big guys. LeBron as well, and Kobe, and on and on.
Absolutely. I was watching last month. I don't know if you've watched Shark Tank when you were living in the States. The bald guy, Mr. Wonderful, right? Yes. Kevin O'Leary. He was on. He was talking about his portfolio, and he invests in watches and everything. And the guy's wealthy. But he and two other investors went in and bought, I think it was a
Kobe and Jordan card.
Yes.
It was actually shown at the National this summer. It went on an auction, and we were surprised, but not surprised at the same time, because he's been doing a great job, like promoting, the hobby of collecting, and he's talking, real numbers, and he sees the value of it. If it comes, from a person like him, then that, the game is real.
it brings validity to it,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And then, like, who else, not on the professional side, but like, who else in business has been a big collector? Like I always see Gary Vaynerchuk is a big card guy.
Gary V has been one of the pioneers. He has a nice collection, and he came out with his own brand now with Topps, doing some specific cards. They're like Pokemon. Then you got so many other people in the music industry and the entertainment industry, like, for example, Steve Aoki, who actually visited here. He's one of the collectors. He has a great PC. All these guys, they're true collectors, and we're always glad to connect with them because, all they do is they communicate their passion. That's what everybody wants to see at the end of the day.
Yeah. So for the listeners, Steve Aoki, if you don't know, top 3 DJs in the world.
No doubt.
He came to Thessaloniki, Greece.
Yeah,
he brought his collection?
He had an event, and we actually reached out to him because in every city he goes, he does like a treasure hunt. Okay. So we reached out to him, and, we're like, Steve, this is our, our little venue. If you want to drop by and like open some boxes, we'd be glad to have you. And immediately, he responded. I connected with his agent, and he came here. We did some basketball. We gave him some collectible cards for his PC. He did some Pokemon as well because he's into Pokemon. He was excited, but this is like, we're always glad to have this kind of people because they're the ambassadors, the true ambassadors of the hobby.
Absolutely.
And one of the things we're trying to do is like we're trying to bring as many as the athletes that get involved in here. Giannis is actually at the Tokubo. He's a big time collector.
He is.
We haven't been able to get him here yet.
Are you guys talking? I feel like he should be here.
We have a communication with him. He's a busy man, obviously, but it's very interesting because we know he's a collector, and we know when he's here, he's going to be surprised by some of the cards that we have.
Okay, so we got to tag him in this one. Make sure that he follows. No doubt. Who was one of the first celebrity athletes that came through here where you're like, oh, we're doing something?
Yeah, we're very proud to have Nick Gallis here. For anyone that is born in Greece, they know, Nick Gallis is the legend, and we're excited to have him here for an interview. He doesn't do this, very often. And I gotta tell the people that we're working on more appearances with Nick Gallis, and we have some nice things to present with him soon. But after Nick, we have all this like the golden generation of basketball in the mid 2000s that came here from Vasilis Panoulis and Nikos Zissis and Thodoris Papaloukas. And on and on. Occasionally we get, some American guys that play in the basketball teams of the city. Like we had, Mario Chalmers, 3-time champion, I think, with LeBron James and Miami Heat. He dropped by here. So our vision is always we want to create, this emotion, and especially when it comes to professional athletes and their cards. This is like, it hits hard.
Jeez. Well, talk about Nikos Gallis right now. He's local, isn't he, from Thessaloniki?
Yeah.
Or the area?
Yeah, he lives here.
Yeah.
He's here. Obviously, he was born in New York. He went to college there. He played at Seton Hall. He was drafted by the Celtics, and we actually have one of his very first cards without a picture of him. And he got an invitation to go to the training camp with the Celtics. And he had a minor injury, and Red Outbar actually was the coach, and he had to cut him. And he always said that he regretted that because immediately after that, all the Greek teams here, they found out about him, and they tried to get him. Aris was the one that got his signature eventually. They brought him here, and it was an amazing, Nick Gallis is the reason that everybody loved basketball, because, he was like a type of player that nobody had ever seen in Greece, and he helped elevate both Aris and the Greek basketball team. And I gotta say, for everyone that doesn't know about Nick Gallis and who Nick Gallis is, Nick Gallis and Oscar Smith, Brazilian guy, also a legend, are the only two guys that have been inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame, even though they didn't play a single game in the NBA. But the respect for them, is beyond anything.
I didn't even know that fact.
Yeah, these are the stories that we live by. These are.
So you got Gallis and then Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
I know different generations, but who do you think had more of an impact on Greek basketball?
That's a tough question, man. The thing that, what Nick Gallis did, I think it cannot be, replicated in any way, because he brought to Greece something that was pretty much non-existent before. Everybody was playing soccer. They knew about basketball, but basketball was not professional. What Giannis did on the same time is equally impressive, because, there are so many messages that come out of the life of Giannis. And for me, the best one, and what I think connects Giannis with Nick Gallis, is the hard work. Because, even Nick Gallis as well, he came out from a poor family. He started from the bottom. Yeah. But his hard work is, what made him come, to the point where he is. And I know, Giannis was blessed enough to play in the NBA, so he has bigger exposure. But again, I will go with, what Nick Gallis did. And it's so nice to see the respect that Giannis has for Nick Gallis every time they're together. He calls him Mr. Nick. It's straight out of respect. So it's amazing.
That's incredible. I grew up in Toronto. And Toronto won the championship in 2019, 18-19.
Yep.
But Kawhi, but you say Kawhi, nobody wants a statue of Kawhi.
Yeah.
Vince Carter put basketball on the map for Toronto.
Exactly.
That's the reason why generations were playing.
Yes. Mr. Canada himself.
Mr. Canada, they loved him. And then Kawhi won, and then he left the next day.
Yes.
Thank you. But it was Vince Carter, I remember.
Exactly. Kawhi got you the trophy, but no doubt what Vince Carter did, because a lot of people don't know, there were two teams out of Canada, and the Vancouver Grizzlies, they didn't make it.
Nope.
They had to move to Memphis, but Toronto, I'm glad to see them. They're still one of the top teams in the NBA.
Absolutely. That was a great run. Is collecting cards a bubble? Will it go away?
It's also a good question. I wouldn't say it's a bubble, because and the reason I say that is because it brings something real. So, I could speak myself. I'm not a big time collector, but I know that, I have in my house, a nice big corner, with all the guys that I get inspiration to, get up every morning and try to become, great. I think this is something that connects teams and athletes with, all of us, whether you're someone that, works in the farmer's market, or you're a CEO, you gotta have someone that, you look after and you say, well, this is great. I'm going to look up to him. So I gotta say, it's not a bubble. The numbers have been growing, and we gotta say that, what happened in COVID was a little bit of a bubble, and it has to do with the fact that, people were stuck in their homes.
Sure.
So there was, they started buying cards, but also at the same time, a lot of people, they got involved and they understood, what this thing is. And now they want to stay in the game, because at the end of the day, it's a beautiful thing. People buy shit, man. So, and they love doing that. They love having, a nice, Vince Carter, signed jersey, or, a rookie card of Vince Carter. We actually have a Vince Carter jersey up there. The original one with the Raptors, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly it. When the logo was actually the red.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that logo, man.
That was the best logo.
The dinos.
Dude, the space is absolutely incredible. Just talking about this right now. So give us some stats. What's the most expensive card that you've ever sold, out of here? And what was that card?
Yeah, so... I have to check with George. So what we're doing, we have an eBay shop as well, and that's where we sell a lot of our singles.
Yeah.
So I think it's a baseball card, to be honest. I don't remember if it's an Ohtani one or someone else, but it's got to be like a rookie card, with on card. Then on top of that, we had some, nice basketball rookie cards of guys that people are investing into. Mm-hmm. So this is going to take like some of them, they're not good investments, obviously. And then everything that has to do with Ronaldo and Messi, we obviously sold that, from Kaboom. And there's like this box of trading cards. It's called Eminence.
Okay.
And back in the Qatar World Cup, it was the first time that Panini, came out with an Eminence soccer box. We had the pleasure to get some of those, and some of the cards there, they sold, for thousands. Obviously, the Ronaldo and the Messi. We're talking about like a, high-end card. And we're very happy actually because this year it's going to be an NBA Eminence box. This doesn't come out every year. Oh, so this is something that a collector is going after. To give you another example, there's like another mid-tier box that came out. We actually have it over there. It's called NBA Silhouette. And because Panini is this year is going to lose the license for the NBA, so they put out in this box 5 autographs, and they have a lot of the patches from jerseys and signature from players back in the day. So me as an Orlando Magic fan, I went in there on eBay and I'm looking for some of those cards that are very rare, and they're not going to be printed again.
So that's where
this is nerd talk, man.
Yeah. But that's crazy.
Yeah, that's where that's why we're into this hobby thing.
Yeah, and so when you're opening your location in the States and here, what's the demographic? What's a typical client of yours here in Europe versus what you're going to see in the States or already see in the States?
Yeah, so
like different price points, different, Yeah,
obviously there's a difference in pricing that has to do, with how the market operates. Now, the big difference that I want to talk about compared to the shop we have here is our shop in New Jersey. It has like an on-site full breaking operation. And I don't know if you want to explain to people what breaking is, because it is something that, has developed in recent years. So let's let's talk about breaking. So let's say that you want to buy a basketball box, but it's one of like, mid to high end, and it's worth like, $1,200. You want to spend that money, right? So you go into a break, and on this break, what happens is, Trace and Chase will offer the option for you to buy a spot in a box break. And that means you can either select your team or bid for your team. Let's say what's your favorite team? Let's say the Raptors. Yeah. Okay. So you want to buy a spot for the Raptors. So the breaker is going to open live all the cards of this box, and everything that has Toronto Raptors is going to go to you. So that means you might get an auto, you might get no cards. But this is like a very approachable way for everyone to get cards on their hand, especially since some of those boxes, they're not easy to hit. So what we're doing in US, we're setting up an on-site operation with our partner. He's been one of the top breaking operations already. His name is Rip Hamilton. All collectors know about him. Yeah. And we're going to get a lot of exposure through that. And this is the main difference compared to here. Here, what we're doing in Europe basically is, like I said, we're filling a gap. So we dispatch, boxes and cards all over Europe to places like, for example, Madrid in Spain. They don't have a hobby shop. Jeez. Not like a big one as like ours. They have like a single hobby shop where you can buy, NFL, NBA, or soccer. So we're fulfilling a lot of orders all over Europe, and, making sure that, these people get a product that otherwise it's not very easy to get, especially with the whole tariffs and customs situation right now. Yeah. You can buy your box straight from US, but you have to pay customs. That's going to put like a 20 and even more burden on your order. Then you're going to have to wait and on. So it's very important for collectors to get their cards on time, and we make sure, we take care of that, from our hub here.
So the one in New Jersey will be a retail shop, essentially?
At the same time, it's going to be a retail shop with a break-in operation. The same thing, we're going to have like a different website, people can order online as well. But the main difference is like the culture is different in the US. So people during the weekend, they take, their kids and they go visit a hobby shop like ours. So you will see like a lot of dads walking in, and, I will ask them, if you make like a 3-point shot, you get a free pack.
Okay, there you go.
We want to see that interaction, and you want to see, we want to connect, people with that market. And New Jersey is a very underrated, hub for collectors. And I know there are a lot of people that will be just like, coming and, visiting our premises there.
What was the thought process of like Jersey specific? Where in Jersey? Trenton?
It's Wayne County, Totowa.
Yeah. So why there?
So that's a good question. It has to do with our partner there, Rip Hamilton, and the breaking operation. He's been running it there.
Are you saying Rip Hamilton, the basketball player?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No way.
And his logo is from.
Wasn't he just part of Jordan's dinner in Athens a couple months ago?
He was here. He was
Rip.
here.
He was on Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit and Washington.
In Washington. Yes. Rip.
So, Ken is also a collector, that's his guy. So this is, he built his entire, operation based on Rip Hamilton. And every time we get a Rip Hamilton card, we make sure, he gets it.
That's awesome.
So he's based in that area. It was very convenient for him to be there because, he's going to be in charge of, running, pretty much, operations, and he has, the manpower.
Yep.
I gotta say that, just like, Ioannis and Ken and Manny on top of everything, like, these guys, I look up to them because, they do something very simple that I know is very successful in business. They create the business and then they go after and they get, the best people. And I'm not talking about myself, I'm the worst. But, they get,
they found you for a reason, right?
They get the people that, they get the job done. And that, makes the whole, process very easy for them and for the business. And I gotta say, we have some, great people in the team. You only see me today, but, shout out to our operation here in Thessaloniki and the guys in New Jersey. They're all doing a great job, and we're looking to build on that.
Dude, and it's a big operation. It's not just
like that.
throw a card in a FedEx. Like exactly. It's a factory.
No,
here.
It doesn't look like that. And we've got a lot of people that we're working with on a day-to-day operation, and I have to do with the handling. Or you get the product here straight from US.
Yep.
Has to go through customs, okay, and then you need to bring it here. So there's a lot of back and forth with all these partners, and I'm glad because we have a great relationship with them, and there are a lot of people that are supporting us since day one.
Yeah. So Manny Kess, who I know was on the podcast a year ago, and before we're chit chatting, he's saying, "Hey, I'm investing in this group, and they're in Thessaloniki, and they do a lot of business." And back then, he was so excited about it, right? And I was talking to him a month ago. I'm like, dude, put me in contact. I'm going to be there, right? I'm in town for something else with the soccer academy. So I'm glad we're able to sit down.
I hope you didn't regret it.
Oh, are you kidding me, man? This is just awesome. And getting to meet your team and seeing everything.
Man, he's a great guy. We're glad to have him on his team. And I'm sure, he's someone that, he's one of those people that you want to be, like, I want to be with Manny like all day, every day.
Yeah, you won't go wrong, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So just talk, I guess, to close this out, like future plans. Are people from the Middle East doing this?
So now that we have put our name, out there, and our partners and all the collectors know about us, we're getting a lot of inquiries from all over the world. So, like, for example, we have like a good friend that is visiting today from Australia. And, he's wondering about, how about you guys come down to Australia? So we get a lot of, inquiries, and this is something that, we have a vision about it. It's going to be happening step by step. Our first destination is New Jersey, but obviously we're open-minded and we're going to build this in a global scale because this is a global thing. That's what's special about it. Like you get like collectors all the way from Australia to Brazil. They're looking, for a player, their favorite player or their favorite team. And we get to send them their card. So this is like, the aspect of the business is global. So that's why, we're just planning to go global.
Has China gotten behind this? I don't hear much about China.
Yes, China is a whole different universe. And to be honest, in China, there are specific kind of products that are circulating, again, from the same companies, but only for the Chinese market. It's a huge market, obviously. It's expanding. And like I said, it's a global hobby.
Amazing. So I guess in closing, best way to get in contact with the team here, and like on social, you guys are active. You do a lot
Yes, we got a website, but we're available in all social media. Any questions, any inquiries, or you're going to shop for us, make sure you check out our eBay shop as well. We got a card for every collector or non-collector. So follow us, keep an eye on us, and soon, hopefully, we'll be close to you.
Hey, man, rocking it from Thessaloniki. Thank you, Dio.
Nice seeing you, George.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Invigorate Your Business with George Stroumboulis. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons and follow me on all the main podcast streaming channels. Also, please share your comments when you can. I appreciate your help in expanding this network to a worldwide audience. Until next time, stay invigorated.